e për të ndigjuar anën e këtij rrëfimi prej të gjitha palëve të përfshira në këtë tregim, ne u munduam ta kontaktojmë edhe Francesco Floritin, pikërisht këtë gjykatës i cili në këtë emision u akuzua që i ka marrë 300.000 euro për ta liruar një njeri. Zotni Floritin e gjetëm në shtëpinë e tij në Udine, ku po punon si gjykatës. Të shohim çka ka me na thonë ai. Zotni Florit, apo na tregoni mas pari kur ka qenë hera e parë që keni ardhur në Kosovë?
Merdita, unë kam ardhur në Kosovë në mars 2008, kam punuar gati 5 viti në Kosovë, si gjyqtar në gjykata në Prishtina, si gjyqtar ndërkombëtar, dhe pastaj si kryetar e gjykatave EULEX nga viti 2011.
Të kemi thirrë në telefon këtu në Skype për me u mundu me zbardh pak situatën, sepse kemi pas më shumë se një burim i cili sonte në emisionin ton na thanë që ata dyshojnë që ju keni marrë të holla, më saktësisht fjala është për 250 deri në 300.000 euro, të cilat ju akuzoni t'i keni marrë për ta liruar një njeri nga dënimi. Çka keni me thonë ju për këtë punë?
Kjo janë rene. Ju tregoj, është pa vërtetë. Është pa mundur dhe nuk ka kur farë bazë. Tash, nëse mund, unë flas në gjuhë angleze, pse është më qartë.
Urdhno, s'ka problem, urdhnoni.
Faleminderit. These accuses are totally ungrounded. I have never received, never been offered any bribe from anybody. This is a nonsense. The decision to which we are referring is a decision taken by a panel where the other 2 members were one Norwegian judge and a Kosovo judge.
And yourself, right? You're president of the court.
We were 3 judges.
But as a president, you have an influence.
I was the president.
You have an influence as a president of the judges panel to set a decision one way or another. You know you have influence.
No, actually, this is not totally correct. In the sense that in a democratic way of working as a judge, you never impose decisions on others. Anyway.
Fine. Can I ask you, there are specific details about this particular decision that you made. Your name has been mentioned in official intercepts that have been done as a part of investigation on another case, Ilir Tolaj, the health secretary. In these intercepts, intermediaries are talking to the minister and to their intermediaries. They're mentioning you. This is what they are saying in the intercepts which Bern has seen. And we have heard them in Albanian. I listened to them this morning. Okay. They say that you have, one of the intermediaries says, I had lunch today with that Italian, do you know? That Florit. We spoke to him at length. He's involved in the case. It is in his position to interrupt the process entirely. And in this longer conversation that continues in these intercepts, you are mentioned as a person who said that we'll look into this, that the prosecutor in this case is very difficult to deal with, but you will look at what there is to talk about. So I'm sure you know even the name of this intermediary because they claim they came to talk to you.
Okay, yes. So now you are mentioning the case, so-called Tolaj case. Mm-hmm. And I think, I've never heard of this intercept, but I think that the Intercept is referring to this Tolai case.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. The intercepts are a part of official court documents that we can access, open court documents that we can access, part of the Tolai case.
Okay, very good. So it's not the case of corruption that you were referring before, okay?
No, but I have other documents referring to that. Can you please just address the issue of intercepts? Why are intermediaries in Tolai's case saying that they talk to you?
Okay, Miss Jeta, this is a document that, if you want, I send to you later on email.
Yes, please, because we cannot see it right now, but tell me about it.
In this document, this is a statement that I signed directed to Maria Bamier, the prosecutor of the Tolai case, where I state that a man called Professor Eyupi called me to meet me.
Yes, and this is Professor Eyupi is the one who is alleged intermediary in Tolai's case.
Okay.
When Professor Eyupi called to meet you, what did they say?
Let me finish if I can.
Yes.
In this document, I denunciated Miss Eyupi the day after he came to my office because he tried to speak to me about the Tolai case. And this document is dated 28th of June 2012 and refers to a meeting that I had with Mr. Eyupi on the 27th of June 2012. And I denunciated him to Ms. Bamier because he wanted to speak to me about the Tolai case.
Can you tell me just how does an intermediary get to you? Did you know this person before? I'm just interested to know how does an intermediary in another case come to you? Who is he?
In this document, I tell all the story. And I say that he had come some times, maybe 5 or 6 times to my office.
Why did Eyüp Kamberi, the intermediary, come to your office 5 times, Mr. Florit?
Because he came 5 or maybe 6 times because he introduced himself as a professor of law and he wanted to have a cooperation with EULEX, to have some lectures from EULEX judges, from myself personally. Okay?
Mm-hmm. And did he talk about lectures all those 5 times he came to you? Did he talk about professorial issues?
Yes, indeed. He spoke about very generic meeting, not very long. Of course, he was speaking in a manner which was not very professional. But there is one point that I want to make. He never had meeting with me only. There was always another staff member of mine present at this meeting.
Okay, and he mentioned can we
just a second. All these meetings took place in my office.
Okay.
And this declaration is signed by me and by my personal administrative assistant.
Yes, so can we just, to cut the long story short for our audience, can you answer, did he try to influence you, to use your influence to do something about Tolai's case? How did he try to do it and what was your answer?
Well, he actually mentioned the Tolai case. My answer was, I don't have anything to do with this case, and even if I had, there is nothing that I can do in this way. And I said, as it is written in this document, please leave my office, never to come back again here. I don't want to see you anymore here.
But did he come back again? Did you meet him again?
No, of course.
Okay, was this the first
And
time?
just a second.
Was this the first time?
Thing.
Just a moment, Mr. Florit. Was this the first time he asked you to influence a case? Was this the first time, or had he done it previous times?
No. In the first, actually, in the first meeting, he just mentioned the case of Fatmir Liman, which was going on at that time.
And what did he say about the case of Fatmir Limay?
No, he said there is, he was very generic, but actually I refused to have anything to do because it was not my case, and if I was the judge of the case, I couldn't have had anything to do with him.
I know, but are you saying he actually did ask for your help or influence over Fatmir Limay's case too?
Not at all.
No. Then in what context didn't he mention the case?
He simply said, it was a generic question, and then there was a person present and a staff member of mine, so he couldn't go anywhere with this discourse. And also, I said, both in the case of Limay and the case of Tolai, I don't want anything. I don't want to hear anything about these issues.
But he kept coming back to your office. You kept allowing someone who was mentioning cases, wanting your influence. He kept coming back to your office 5-6 times.
No, this is the point. This is exactly the point that I wanted to mention before.
Yeah.
The policy of openness in my office was that anybody who had asked to meet me was allowed. Okay. But the condition was that there was someone else of my staff, and this would have happened only in my office.
Okay. Mr. Florit, we've explained that. Now I want to talk a little bit in length about a more serious accusation. Apart from...
Let me finish one thing. Ere para që ai ka folur në lidhja me rastet Tolaj, unë kam merr këtë deklarimi kundër ti. Unë kam bërë një kallëzim penal kundër atë.
Mirë. Zotni Florit, tash e përfundum çështjen që ka të bëjë me përgjimet. Ju po thuni që ju e keni qit jashtë, mirë, por përgjime ata po thonë që ju keni thënë që do të shikoni çka mund bëni. Por sidoqoftë, kjo nuk është akuza më e rëndë. Akuza më e rëndë lidhur me ju është lidhur me rastin e vrasjes së trefisht, ku akuzoheni që për 300.000 euro që i keni marrë në Shqipni, në Durrës, e keni liru njërin prej të 3 akuzumve, e keni liru në Srecenën. Tash tregomni, a i keni marrë 300.000 euro për me ju tha që si keni marrë 300.000 euro, po...
Nuk kam marrë 1 euro.
Mirë, a keni shku në Shqipni?
Jo, në viti 2009 dhe në viti 2008, me falni, në viti 2009 dhe në viti 2010 nuk kam ardhur në Shqipni asnjë herë.
Njëra prej palëve, zotni Florit, njëra prej palëve e cila ka folë me neve, antar i familjes të njënit prej të dënuarve, që ka mendu që po i mbledh paret për me ju pru juve në Shqipni, që mi aliru vllaun, për neve thot që në këtë emision ka thënë që ju ka pa juve në Shqipni, edhe me juve ka shku me negociu avokati i ti. Ju ka pa.
Nuk është e mundur. Në vërtetë nuk është e mundur. Unë nuk kam ardhur në Shqipni në vitin 2009. Kjo është, nëse ai tregon që me ka pa, ai është kjo nuk është vetëm një rene, ai është një budalla. Me falni.
Nëse keni pas relacione edhe marrëdhënie kaq të mira në Kosovë, edhe me kosovar, edhe me shqiptar, pse e lshut EULEX-in, pse nuk ndejtët në Kosovë deri në fund të përfundimit mandatit të EULEX-it?
Pse qeveria e Italisë ka ndërprerë misionin teme, ka treguar mjaft the Italian government has closed my secondment to the mission.
And this has nothing to do, you leaving Kosovo has nothing to do with a sudden 300,000 euros that you used, that you had in your bank account?
Listen, this story of 300,000 euro is totally false. I never had this sum of money in my bank account. This is completely,
okay.
Maybe I have 300, but not 300,000. Listen.
Mr. Florit, didn't you pay your mortgage with 300,000 euros at that very time, when you were here?
Which mortgage?
Maria Bamei, the prosecutor, claimed on our program that she had questioned you, wanted your statement regarding your influence on cases, and you had confessed to her that you paid your mortgage in your house in Italy with 300,000 euros.
Listen, Miss Maria Bamier has never asked me any statement about this case. If she had asked me the statement, I would have given the statement because I have nothing to hide.
Okay, it's true. It's not. This is not written. It is.
Listen, no. Just a second, Miss Jeta. About the mortgage, I want to say that the house where I live now, I'm paying the mortgage and I'm going to pay for the next 23 years. Because I am not a rich person and I asked the bank the money to buy the house. We sold the house that we had before. We used part of that money, and the remaining money was a mortgage from, we asked it from the bank, and I'm paying every month.
So are you saying you never mentioned, not on the record, but on off the record conversation with Maria Bamei, you never talked about any money that was paid as your mortgage in Italy at that time? You never even friendly discussed this with her?
No, frankly, I didn't have friendly or confidential relations with Miss Bamier when I was a judge in Kosovo. I didn't have friendly relations. Professional relations, yes. But I don't know why she should be interested in my bank account and
because there are members of the family who are officially declaring, making a complaint, wanting a retrial because they're officially saying that they collected money to give to you to release their family members and you only released one.
As I said, Spencerimi and Besni Kazani were convicted by the panel on which I was president, and this decision has been confirmed by the Supreme Court in 2 instances. I was a panel of the members, and we, as panel members, we acquitted Nusret Sena.
Why?
Because there were not enough elements to prove he was guilty.
But the other two were convicted on based of the testimony of one witness, which later went to a prosecutor in Kosovo, Milaku, to tell him that he was under pressure to identify only one member.
No, I want to tell you one thing, Miss Jeta. This is page 48 of the decision in the case of Besni Kazani and Spencerimi, okay?
Mm-hmm. What does it say?
This is page 48, okay? The last but one page of the decision. The decision was 49 pages. And in this decision, the panel says, a last point. At the close of her closing speech, the prosecutor, Ms. Bamier, has suggested that if the panel had not found sufficient elements to establish the criminal responsibility of Nusret Zena for the facts described in the charges, it would have had any way to consider the facts as failure to report criminal offenses. This means that in her final speeches, Ms. Bamier understood that the elements against Nusret Zena were very weak and asked the reformulation of the charge against him.
But she was not prosecutor on this case.
She was the prosecutor of the case. She came to court 25 times. Mm-hmm. Why not the prosecutor of the case? What are you saying? Sorry.
It was Reshad Milaku.
Yeah. Reshad Milaku was the prosecutor in, maybe he was in appeal. Or maybe, I don't know, frankly speaking, I don't want to say things which are not correct. Maybe there was a second investigation against the rest of the group who was doing the attack at the Sekiracha restaurant.
Mm-hmm. No, we're talking about the triple murder case. Can we just stay here?
No, not the triple murder case. Not the triple murder case. We are speaking of the Bill Clinton bombing case.
Yes.
In the Bill Clinton bombing case, there were.
But I asked you about triple murder because Spendasani and Cherimi are confessing their faults in the Sekiracha murder, that they got 25 years. They're not questioning that. Neither the family members, neither the victims are questioning that. What is being questioned is the triple murder case where you made the decision to release Nusret Zena and punish the other two. Can I ask you?
This is completely wrong. I have had nothing to do with the triple murder case. It is called in different ways. It is called the triple murder case. It is called the Le Pen's Bridge case. It is called the Baftiu Brothers case. It is the case in which...
these days it's called the Florit taking 300,000 euro case. Now, can you tell me, what did EULEX ever investigate this? Because these families made official complaints to EULEX. So I'm interested to know whether there was an open investigation against you. Do you know anything about this?
Frankly speaking, what I know is only from the newspapers of Kosovo.
You have never been contacted by EULEX leadership or EULEX investigative bodies?
No. By the EULEX prosecutor, it was me to ask them if I was under investigation. And at the time, they said there is only a preliminary investigation. You are not formally registered in the books, so to speak.
And did anyone? So they when did they inform you that there was a preliminary investigation? going on against you?
This may have happened in April of this year.
April this year.
But no, they said, ata kanë treguar që në atë kohë nuk kishte time. Ata kanë bërë një deklarata ku ata tregojnë që nuk ka time kundër Florit.
Po, mirë po palët në Kosovë janë intervistuar. Palët në Kosovë hetim para prak të ne në kupton hetim. Edhe hetimi para prak është hetim.
Punuar si gjustar për 5 vitit, normal që kuptoj.
Mirë, atëherë hetimi para prak është një lloj hetimi. Atë ka marrë dikush në pyetje ndonjëherë, zotni Florit, lidhur me këto akuza?
Ja.
Kërkush?
Formalisht jo. Neze me kërkojnë, unë jam gata të përgjigjet krejt. No problem.
Are you sure you never spoke, nobody in EULEX leadership worried about even their reputation? Did they never even contacted you to see what's your side of the story?
No.
Nobody?
No, just a second. Unë ka qenë kontaktuar ka ezaktiste një viti nga Matson. Atëherë, ai ishte shef e departimentit ekzekutive EULEX-it.
Matson, apo?
Matson.
Po e di. Edhe?
Ai me ka fituar në Prishtinë për një interviste.
Apo sheqit pas kam ftu për intervistë, do me thonë.
Po, por atë, në atë kohë, ishte vetëm një hetime e brendshme, administrative tregojme. Okej?
Na këtu i thujmë hetim preliminar asaj, urdhno, po, edhe?
Ka marrë në Kosovë brenda 2 dite. Ata me kanë kontaktuar, mas dita kanë qenë në EULEX-it. Unë kam sqaru çfarë mund të sqaroj, dhe pas këte takime, Matson dhe një tjetër këshilltar juridik nga EULEX ka përpilluar një report. Kjo është report.
E çka thot raporti? A thot që kanë përfundu hetimet? A thot që...
Ata tregojnë, nuk është fjala time.
Mirë, çka tregojnë ata?
E brendshme që përfundon hetime administrative e brendshme e EULEX-it. Ata tregojnë që nuk ka baze për akuza kundër Florit.
A mundeni me ndoqa...
Ndoshta para ka qenë marrë nga antares e familjes e Besnik Kazani. Por nuk ka kur farë arsye për të mendu që Florit ka marrë atë parë.
Zotni Florit, a mundeni me ma që atë raport? A do të ndoni atë raport me ne?
Sinqerisht, kjo është rezervime, konfidencial. Unë nuk e dëshiroj. Tjetër dy dokumentat e mund. Por kjo është konfidenciale.
E pse është konfidenciale? Nëse, zotni Florit, nëse ju jeni të bindur në përfaqësinë e juaj, pse çka ka të fshehtë aty kur ju tregut anën e ju historisë, e ana tjetër që ju akuzon juve, gjithashtu e ka bë kët zyrtarisht. Çka ka të fshehtë në ato dokumente që nuk mund t'i ndani me ne?
Është shumë qartë. Në fund e report, ata tregojnë që unë nuk jam fajtor.
Jo, nuk është e qartë, sepse ne nuk e kemi pa dokument. We haven't seen that document that says that you are not guilty. In the beginning you said you were never questioned, then it appeared that you were invited to be interviewed.
No, just a second. I didn't say that. I said that I was un kantreguar që unë kurrë nuk kanë qenë intervistuar nga prokurore EULEX-it. Por
I asked you about, were you ever interviewed by EULEX? I didn't say by prosecutor of EULEX. I asked you 3 times, and third time, you admitted you have been. Same way, we do not know whether you're guilty or not. It's your word against 2 other people, against family members and a prosecutor right now. So can we see the document which makes you not guilty? Can we see it?
Okay, no problem. I will send this document as well. It's not a problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Florit.
I will send tonight this document, then the denunciation that I did of Mr. Professor Yupi, and also the decision of the case, where it is written what I said before, that not even Miss Bamier believed that Nusret Sena was guilty. Is it okay for you? Is it enough?
If we see the document right after the program, not tonight, I would like you to send it to us after the program.
Okay, no problem. If you don't mind. Immediately after the program.
Thank you very much.
Anything to hide.
Thank you very much. Final question for you. Do you have immunity? As a foreign staff having worked in Kosovo, do you think you have immunity over criminal charges, or do you not?
No, formally I have the immunity, but the immunity can be withdrawn by the mission and in agreement with New York, and actually it has been partially removed.
Would you voluntarily give up your immunity to face justice?
No problem. They can investigate whatever they want.
And would you come to Kosovo for this, or would you want? If it's up to you, do you accept to face justice in Kosovo?
For sure. No problem. Nuk ka problem, nuk ka dushim. Nuk kam, jam një gjyqtar në Itali. Kam ber krejt korrekte, nuk kam kur farë të bej me këtë rane. Kjo është një film, nuk është një realitet.
Mirë. Zotni Florit, faleminderit.
Just a second, can I say one last thing?
Yes. Urdhna, zotni Florit, çka keni me thonë?
Do you think that makes sense to receive money only from one of the accused so that the other 2 will denunciate you? Do you think that makes sense, as the brother of Besnik Ezani has said, that I would be paid 10,000 euros for the next 25 years?
That is something for a judge to decide. We can only ask questions. But for a final question, media here, these days, they're writing not only about you, they're writing about Ms. Bamey's also declarations or reports she has done. And they are saying the other side has also portrayed Ms. Maria Bamey as mad. Do you think she's crazy?
I'm not a psychiatrist, actually.
Excuse me?
I'm not a psychiatrist.
But you are a judge. Often judges need to decide on that too. Often evaluate people's personalities. So as a professional in that field, would you say she's a bit crazy?
No.
No?
I don't say that she's crazy. I don't say she's not crazy. I don't say anything about that. Anybody can judge by himself. Okay?
Then why would she make such accusations? Do you wonder what her motivations are?
The accusation against me?
you and people who have stopped certain investigations, internal investigations.
Listen, about what he did and the information that he leaked about the mission, it's clear that it is motivated by a sort of revenge, in my opinion.
Revenge for what? Revenge for what?
Because she was having problems in her office. And at the end, she has been suspended.
What kind of problems?
I don't know. I know only what I read from the newspapers.
Yeah, the newspapers have written about it. The problem that there was she has an internal investigation against her over a bad parking. That is what EULEX has started internal investigation on.
You don't,
disciplinary procedure.
Frankly speaking, you don't suspend a staff member for a parking space, right?
Right.
Okay.
So what do you...
Okay, so this is a story told for those who want to hear it, okay?
But when we don't have EULEX telling us why they suspended her...
Another thing, about the reason of the accused against me, the reason is quite clear. Besni Casani and Spencerimi are going to serve the rest of their life in jail. Now, I was the president on the first trial that found them guilty. It's clear that if they say the judge was corrupted, all the trial falls down.
Mr. Florit, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you to you, Miss Jeta. It was nice to meet you.